Good afternoon! Buenas tardes! Magandang umaga, magandang hapon, konnichiwa! I'm here with Sister Christy. I'm Sister Mary Lou of the Incarnate Word Sister. We are here to talk about our experience in Laredo Border Ministry funded by Hilton Foundation. Sister Christy, can you tell me one or two experience of your encounter in this border ministry project?
Well, I met one person. His name is Daniel from Venezuela, and he was in his mid-20s and he came by himself, but he encountered many other migrants on his traveling. But one thing that really impressed me about Daniel was that he started traveling in February and he came to us in July in Laredo. So he's been over months, traveling, and he didn't even know where he was. He was in many detention centers from one to another. But when he finally came to Laredo, he was very excited. He was very happy because he's almost at his final destination. So, and we encountered him there in the closed room, and you can just tell the excitement of where he has been and where he was.
Now, Christy, what was your pivotal moment in this ministry?
My pivotal moment was when I encountered the migrants. They've been traveling so much, and they needed since they're here at this facility, they need like food and drink, something to drink. So during lunchtime, we would serve them whatever the kitchen staff had made for the day. And we had the two lines for them, one for the women and the children, and the other side for the men. And they would take turns of who comes up and gets served. But that was my pivotal moment. Another pivotal moment too was when the migrants all took turns, but they would share their cell phones with each other. One person didn't have a cell phone, the other one did, and they would just share each other's cell phones. And another one is when they didn't have any money for their next destination. And another migrant had money left over, and so they would give it to that person in need. And if it wasn't for somebody in need, they would even ask the facility if they can just give them as a donation to the foundation, to Catholic Charities.
Now, Christy, why was it pivotal for you?
Well, it was a moment for me because it looked like, instead of having the migrant be individualized, it seemed like we were all family, like everyone cared for each other. Now, Mary Lou, tell me the time that you heard about this ministry.
Well, initially I was thinking about the border having so many people to be attended, to be serviced, to be ministered. So I was so actually excited about it. In fact, I really wanted to practice my Spanish. I was studying some Spanish on that time, and I had to visit a sister who's very fluent in Spanish so that there in the border I can understand some of the conversation, which was very helpful for me. And we had several meetings as well, and we actually in fact partnered with Cambodia Sisters. They have two sisters who are native Spanish speakers, and also with Holy Spirit Sisters, and they are also fluent with Spanish. So really, I'm the only one who doesn't really speak Spanish very well, but because of the sisters who I'm surrounded by sisters whose Spanish is very well, so I am very much grateful for their support, so that I'll be able to minister with the refugees and migrants in the border.
Now, Mary Lou, tell me about your experience about one person or two that you have met there at the Laredo Center.
I can speak about two encounters. One is a person from Cuba, and he walked into Roperia, which is the clothing room. This is usually where we spend a lot of time, which is the clothing room. We give them the towel to take a shower, and then we give them the clothes so that they can change their clothes. And Juan from Cuba, he walked into the clothing room and he has a very big smile, as if he won a lottery. and after he took a shower, he had so much stories to share with us in the clothing room, and he was so grateful about having the clothes, having a shower. And he was talking about his experience, that it only took him 2 weeks of waiting, and there are other people who are still waiting there for months, and people from India and people from Sudan, they were stuck there, or either they're stuck or they're actually sent away. And the other experience that I have is with the children. Initially, I was playing with them one-on-one, and then Sister Maite, the Comboni sister, she noticed what I was doing, and she suggested, instead of doing one by one ministering to the children, what if we set up a table outside? So it has become like a routine. Every day we will have activity table with the children. We would play with them, and then we would give them like toys whenever they finish their coloring book or their coloring pages. And the children really loved us. And whenever they recognize us, I know like the next day, this child, he hugged me. She hugged me, and then she noticed that I was the one playing with her the day before and also on that day. And it was really very rewarding experience.
And what was your pivotal moment for you, Mary Lou?
My pivotal moment is with the children. Initially, I was playing with them like one by one, and then somebody noticed, and Sister Maite, we are now going to work with children in groups. So it has become systematic. So we would alternate each other spending time with children, and then one at a time we would exchange like who will be outside and who will be inside the Catholic charity. And then later on, they were like fighting. Children were a little bit kind of like getting tired or, fuzzy. And you know what? It doesn't matter. They will fight, and then the next day they will hug each other. And it was just so amazing to see them like, it doesn't matter what happened before. Now we're all reconciled. That was very beautiful. Now, my next question is about your routine. The first time you wake up in the morning, and then before you retire, what was it like, Sister Christy?
We had a really good community, intercongregational, with 6 sisters all together. I woke up at 5:30 in the morning, and then we would have prayer at 6:30 as a community. And then afterwards, we would go to Mass at 7 o'clock. And then one team, because we were made up of 2 different teams of 3, and then so one team would have breakfast and the other one was preparing to go to their either to the ministry or just being quiet to themselves or however. And then at 8 o'clock we would have breakfast, and after breakfast one of the teams would stay back and wash dishes and clean up afterwards, and the other team was getting ready to go to their ministry at 9 o'clock, or they had to be at the ministry by 9. And then afterwards, 9 o'clock, they were there at the ministry, and we would the next team would come in about 1 o'clock. So we would trade off on our ministries, and then at 6 o'clock we would come back for dinner. Dinner was already prepared. And then after dinner, we would have a reflection of our day of how God touched us. And then by 9 o'clock, we would either have recreation time as a group or talk about amongst ourselves and see what the next day was going to be like, and if we had other questions. And by 10, I think we were ready to go to sleep.